comprehension of the things that you set forth to doing, even if you don't have guidance or whatever it may be, it falls upon the person that's doing it in order to comprehend the thing that isn't comprehensible, whether it be being resourceful and looking for different uh, avenues of thought. Um, and that's what I've been doing for the last week and a half or so. Um, it's changed every day, and it's so awesome because today a lot of it was making sense. A lot of uh, it was right there, but I couldn't necessarily piece it together comprehensively as a whole. It was just simply pieces, but the pieces led to what ultimately happened today. I mean, it's not anything extravagant. They were just nice and relaxed, easy throws. But if my this understanding of it won't carry me for the rest of however long I want to throw. And I know things will change. I understand that. But there are pieces of the hammer throw. And those pieces, what I have come up with or I've observed, is me rushing the like vast majority of the times. I never would understand a finish. I would never have a finish. I would never, because I would start too early. So I was just like, well, I can't keep doing this, and I don't want to do this, like, and be shitty at it because I don't want anything to get hurt or anything like that. And so if I'm wanting to pursue something in this, I want to take the time, especially now in the off season, to make sure that I have what I need with my 16. Because if I get an answer with my 16, it would be a little bit more valid than having to use a band-aid like the heavies. Not to say that the heavies aren't essential to my ability to learn, but it is more comprehensive now with a lighter ball, and especially the competition ball, because it was getting there, but we could still, of course, work on things. It's the natural progression of the sport, but this was something different. Like, I finally was able to put together the sequence of what each part of the throw uh, entails, or I've been able to actually define it, and that's from not just the step ins, but in the winds off the first catch, and uh, just to to fit the pieces in a different way, because I knew I have the piece. I knew I have the pieces. I know I have the pieces. It's just they're in the wrong order. And that's 99.99999% of all throwers. They have the shit. They just don't have the order correct. And so if that's why, like, no one makes sense, like, especially like some people that have been doing this for a long time and just refuse to go backwards in order to go forwards. They try to put a band-aid on it somewhere, but it doesn't fix anything. By either using lighter ball or heavy ball and popping one throw off that may have been like halfway substandard, and then they automatically think that they're on the right track. Well, if a brick is an eighth of an inch off in the house, then the house isn't going to be good. So you're only going to get so far. So anyway, today was very frustrating, just because I'm trying to replicate each practice and then try to um, take what I did from the last practice and then not escalate, but understand it better in the second practice. And that's what I'm doing. I'm doing 2 days. No more than 20 throws a practice, and not really a lot of drilling either. It's just trying to figure out the pieces and what order the pieces belong. So anyway, what I've come up with that is made the most sense, is external rotation. If I'm thinking about rotating in a circle, linear progression makes sense at the point of acceleration at the bottom of the pendulum. That makes sense. But there's got to be structure, there's got to be something to stabilize that linear progression. And it's not necessarily just forwards and backwards, based on my observations anyway. And this isn't just my experience. This is looking at top-notch throwers, what their body is telling me that they are actually doing. So let me elaborate on that. It's not just forwards and backwards, and it's not just side to side, and it's never side to side. It technically it's neither. That's the answer. It is neither. You can go forwards and backwards, but you will fall. Who gives a fuck about falling? You know, I mean, why not fall in the direction that you need to with that structure? It does you no good to practice getting the ball to the point of to the bottom of the pendulum, or to wherever the fuck you're practicing it, and then falling. That isn't stable. So I mean, maybe that could like get a better understanding with people that are like 70+ meter hammer throwers, maybe, but that doesn't make sense to somebody like me who's a novice and is just figuring this shit out. And just what I see is different than what some people say. And I am no expert by any means, but I know a little bit about a little bit. And the thing that trumps all is external rotation through the ground. It's like a squat. A squat isn't up and down. It is to the side. And so what the hammer throw is a box squat. It is an absolute box squat. That is not even that's no closer to a joke than I could possibly even like explain, like how like silly it is that it's a box squat. And so and I don't really give a shit about anyone else's opinion. I want to throw whatever the fuck it is that I'm going to throw, and it's going to look good. It's going to look like a throw, and it's going to look consistent, and and the mark is going to reflect that particular look. And it's not a look that is fabricated because it's what I want to fabricate. It is because what the ball is telling me is that it's not a drag, it's not shit, but external rotation. Let me elaborate again. External rotation happens in one section of the throw. That one section of the throw is from the initial catch, the time when your foot hits the ground, to the time that it gets to about parallel with the ground. That is when external rotation happens. And I say this too because I'm also contradicting a lot of people when they're talking about slapping the heel to the ground. I don't see it. I see it, but I don't see it. I look at like someone like Fidek, uh, he presses the heel to the ground, and then the right side voluntarily comes through. So if that's one thing that so there's got to be some type of connection from the ball to the left toe in order to understand that left foot is wanting to, that left heel wants to get down, but it can't get down. External rotation. So it's not just from the left side, it's got to come from the support of the right side as well. So from the initial point of the catch to about parallel with the ground is when the right foot and the left foot are spreading the ground. That is how the left heel is getting to the ground. It may not look like it because the right side isn't moving. It isn't moving, but the intention is to spread the ground. You will not be able to see it until the left heel gets to the ground, and then the right side will continue to move because it has stability through that left heel. So once you go from the catch to about parallel with the ground, or whenever, I'm not as flexible as a lot of people. It could be something, it could be way different for some people, for sure, for fucking sure. Or it's depending on the degree of the ball. I'm not saying that it's gonna be completely fucking different, but it's gonna be a difference in variation or variable of the degree, not necessarily what it's gonna entail of the timing, but the degree of the ball is the timing of the external rotation, what those people are allowed to do based on what their body is capable of, depending on what the ball allows you to do. Okay, so, but then after that, it's all great, it's all good. You don't have to do anything after that. That is right side. Right side is external rotation from the time of the catch to the ball is parallel, for me anyway, but I also see it in FIDEC, and I mean, I see it in a lot of people too. But then once the heel gets to the ground, then the right side will continue on, but it's not just I'm dragging right side, it is that I am still externally rotating the ground. I just have a piece of stability with my left side. My left axis is completely stable at that point. I am still thinking about spreading the ground. As long as it is entailing that my left axis is correct. And then after that, the ball will come through to the line inside the left hip, and then after that, the ball will carry you to the next catch, and then you do it. So it's from the initial catch, the parallel to the ground of the ball is parallel to the ground is external rotation, and then from the time that the ball is through the point of being at the parallel to the ground to the point of acceleration at the bottom of the pendulum is the time that the right side is allowed to work through. And so that is my observation of what the throw entails. And I'm making this sound way more complicated than what it is. It's very something that is very simple. It is incredibly simple when I'm able to do this. But this is my shit. This is what I'm speaking to myself. So that means that I don't care about what other people say as far as, oh, well, you need to do this or this or this or this. Don't care. It's something that I get to figure out for myself, and it's so cool to figure it out. I've been in this game or this sport for no time at all, and I'm in no hurry, so I get to experiment. But if I can put my drill to my actual throw and match it with every weight, what the fuck can anyone say? No one can say anything. So that's where it's really it's gonna be different. I'm not saying this as a shitting on anybody. It's just something that is mine.